living in Justin Trudeau's Canada, it's a never-ending hallucinogenic, surreal dream. Justin Trudeau's mode of governance is to top each scandal with a bigger scandal. And he's really good at that. And you might say, well, what's wrong with Canadians? And I can tell you what's wrong with Canadians is that Canadians have a very difficult choice to make. They can either wake up and realize that under the jurisdiction of this preposterous narcissist, we've compromised virtually every institution of integrity in Canada, which is a really bitter pill to swallow, or we can assume that everyone who's pointing that out is some sort of conspiracy theorist. And it's way easier for Canadians to swallow the latter story than to actually contend with the true ramifications of the former story. Now, unfortunately, the former story is true. So that's okay.
Well, what is extraordinary? What's extraordinary about?
Long.
I mean, what's extraordinary right now? You've been ordered. I don't even know if that's the right word to use, to take social media training by a Canadian court because you posted tweets criticising the transgender and body positivity movements. My first question is, I mean, do you intend to do this?
Oh, well, I've got all sorts of evil plans on that front. I mean, at the moment, we've appealed the decision of the court in Canada to allow the college to proceed with their re-education of me. Now, the re-education, what are the criteria of the re-education program is that I'm required to sit down with a social media expert, whatever the hell that is, because that's not a genuine occupation. I don't even know how you define it. And I'm supposed to also, as a clinician, be very careful about how I allow myself to be educated, let's say. I'm supposed to educate myself according to the tenets of scientific investigation, for example, or recognized clinical practice, and social media expert doesn't fit into those categories. Anyways, I'm supposed to sit down with a social media expert, and then I'm supposed to modify my attitude, however I'm supposed to do that, until they're satisfied that I've changed. And, you know, that's not that likely as far as I can tell, because I haven't changed since I was 3 years old, really, in some core elements.
Jordan, it's also preposterous, isn't it? I mean, the idea that in a modern democratic society, which Canada purports to be, the idea they take one of its great thinkers, you know, clinical psychologist, like you're someone who literally is one of the smarter thinkers and brains in the country, and think that they can get a social media expert, whatever that is, to re-educate you about views that you honestly hold, about some of the insanity of the gender debate or the insanity of the body positivity debate. The idea that somehow you're in the wrong and you have to be re-educated, that in a way is a form of fascism, isn't it? I mean, it's the kind of Nazism that someone like Trudeau would profess to hate most in the world, and yet he's encouraging the demonization of you for challenging the insanity.
It's the world of evil clowns, man. It's preposterous in the extreme.
So Jordan Peterson just lost in court, which was expected, but for different reasons than you might be thinking. Basically, last November, the College of Psychologists of Ontario ordered Jordan Peterson to take a remedial program on professionalism in public statements because of his tweets and statements on podcasts. Peterson then challenged this decision of the College of Psychologists in court, and the Ontario court now rejected Peterson's challenge. But it was obvious he was going to lose, and not because of what he said, but more so because challenging the decision of regulators is extremely difficult. What Jordan Peterson asked the court to do is called a judicial review in Canada, which is when courts review the decisions of administrative bodies. And as long as the judges found that the college's decision was reasonable, even if they personally disagreed with it, Jordan Peterson was going to lose. The judges found that the decision was reasonable because it balanced Peterson's right to freedom of expression with the college's objectives as a regulator. Because the college didn't stop Peterson from expressing his views, he wasn't even disciplined, he was just told to take a program. The judges also said it was reasonable for the college, as an expert body for psychologists, to be concerned that Peterson's statements could undermine public trust in the profession.